obviously I was horrifically flat. At this point now, my physique is very tight. And I'm now getting evicted. Just wanted to talk through those bits. So sort of what I think went wrong. And then the excitement for FIBO, what I mentioned in yesterday's video. So we'll start with what I think went wrong. Now, in terms of going wrong, right, I don't want to just sit here and list excuses. These are by no means excuses. As I've said many times, I was still happy with the package presented. I think a lot of the footage everybody's seen on Instagram doesn't do me justice because it was taken from a fucking Nokia brick a million miles away and everybody looked shit on it. When you actually look at some of the high quality footage that was in like this my show day video, for example, I think that does me a little bit more justice. Now, obviously, I was horrifically flat. Okay, there was no pop through my upper. My legs were flat. From the rear, I was actually pretty happy with how I looked. I think from the rear, I was actually one of the strongest. Obviously, Alex Kent smoked me from the rear. His back is crazy. But in terms of the others, like I was very happy with my look from the rear. Now, from the front, I was horrifically flat. So a few reasons for this. We spent the entire week of peak week last week waking up at about 209 pounds. My weight cap is 212. We weighed in at 209 in clothes after 2 meals. So I'm a long way under my cap, okay, which isn't a bad thing. I still think I could be leaner for future preps as well. But in terms of this overall prep, obviously, if you've watched the entire prep series, you'll know that we were behind and then we had to pull food really low from like 8 weeks out, lower than it's ever been before. And this prep was probably my hardest of all of them, which I have said long before the show leading into it. So it's not like I'm just saying this in retrospect now, right? It was a difficult prep. Food was very low for a very long period of time just because we got the timeline wrong. And that's on Tom, and that's partly on me as well. So lesson learned from that. But at this point now, my physique is very tight. It is very flat, and it's very, very hard to get any life into it, especially when you've got to make weight and then you've only got 12 hours to fill up. Okay, it's just not possible, really, for me to bring the full package, which is difficult. We're obviously going to try a little bit different for this week. So there was that. Obviously, my legs were very flat as well. My quads especially had faded. Now, I touched on that in the last few videos. I did actually pull, or I think potentially now I'm thinking I've torn my hip flexor up here. I did that about 5 weeks out. I didn't put it in YouTube because I didn't want to dampen the mood or go into shows admitting defeat, but it was a concern. I wasn't able to hack squat or leg press from sort of 5 weeks out. It was literally leg extensions trying to hold volume with my legs. Obviously, there's only so much you can do there. So that's why the quads are downsized, which is a shame, but injuries happen. Out of my control. I managed it the best I can. I managed it the best I could have, and I'm still very glad I still pushed on and did this prep. You know, I'm not unhappy. So yeah, there was that. So I think a combination of being really flat throughout peak week, and also a lot of stress with travel, the time zone. You'll have seen from peak week last week, I was getting up at like 3:30, 4 a.m. every day. My sleep was horrific, and my physique just was not responding because of that. We ate a lot of food. We ate, over 10,000 calories to try and carb up, and it still just went straight through me. So there was a lot. We're going to try a little bit more water this week with the carbs, because I think I was over dehydrated as well, which obviously I felt the effects of on the Sunday. So yeah, and also this week we're not holding me at 209. We're holding about 213 right now upon wake, and hopefully we'll weigh in much closer to that 212 marks. I've not spent the full week depleting. Now, again, these are all things we're going to try. At this stage, this close to the show, there are only so many corrections you can make. As I've said, my physique has faded a little bit. It is tired. I can't just magically regrow my quads in a week. But hopefully we are able to bring a little bit more pop through the fullness, a little bit more, which will exaggerate that shape and what is my strong suit. So that's the plan. Now, for Detroit, that's going to be difficult, but we're going to manage it as best we can. And I'll take you through that and show you that fully transparently. And hopefully it leads to an improved look than the Fitworld. The lighting and the quality of the photos and the live stream that come from Detroit will also be better. So you'll get a much more accurate look at how I actually look, which I think will be good. Expectations for Detroit, obviously I've not really got any now. Following on from last weekend, it's kind of just, if I can present a package I'm happy with, if I can become a little bit fuller, I'm happy. Placing wise, there is no expectation, right? I'd like to jump in front of some of the guys that beat me at Fitworld. Obviously that's the goal, so that's what we're going to try and do. But it's been a difficult week in terms of rehydrating and now trying to, correct my physique. There's a lot of there's a lot going on behind the scenes. It's quite hard to manage. Plus mentally, obviously, right? I'm sure you'll all appreciate how tough it's sort of been on me. But I'm back in a good headspace now and feeling quite positive. So I think with that, plus my sleep is a lot better this week, I am actually feeling quite optimistic that the look will be improved for Detroit, which is exciting. Now, for FIBO, the reason I'm so excited is because I'm adamant that my physique will be improved for FIBO because I've got a 2-week gap. So I've got time to go back home, get in my usual routine, be around my friends, my family, my girlfriend, get in a really good mental headspace. And then we fly out to Germany, which is a much shorter flight. It's only an hour and a half, whereas I had an 11.5-hour flight to LA. I've then had a 5-hour flight to Detroit. I then got to fly home. But for Germany, it's like an hour and a half flight, right? It's really short, so that'll be a lot more comfortable. Had some accommodation changes with FIBO. Originally, I was staying in one accommodation through to Friday, and then on Friday, one day out, during my carb up, I was going to have to move accommodation, so pack up all my stuff, pack up all my food, and change accommodation, ready for the weekend, which would have been very, very stressful, which I was not looking forward to. That's now all been sorted, so I'm in the same accommodation all week. Sounds very minor to most people. For me, during peak week, especially on the Friday when I'm carbing up and I'm cooking meals constantly and trying to rest and just soak up the carbs and not be too active, that's a massive game changer for me. But the most exciting thing is that weigh-ins are on Thursday and I'm not on stage till Saturday, which means we'll have a much, much longer period to actually fill up, which hopefully means I'll be able to bring a much fuller package, which is obviously the thing we are struggling to do. I've obviously also got a 2-week gap in between Detroit and FIBO, which means I can go home, I can run consecutive high days for a good week, get some really good training under my belt where I'm not dehydrated, where I'm back in Ultraflex rather than in my usual setup, get some life back into my physique, and then we can just drop down steadily in peak week, weigh in on Thursday, and then we've got a full day and a half to eat up into the show. So feeling a lot more positive for FIBO. Detroit's going to be very tough this weekend, which I'm aware of, but it's going to be a hell of a show regardless. Like, I'm just buzzing to be there as a fan as well as compete. Like, at the end of the day, it's bodybuilding, right? It's not the be-all and end-all of my life. I love the sport. I'm a big fan of it as well as competing in it. So I'm excited just to watch the pro show in person as well as be on stage and compete with some of the caliber of athletes I'll be competing with. So there's a lot of positives coming into Detroit that I'm really looking forward to. There's also kind of pressures off me now because there was a lot of expectation leading into Fitworld, none of which was sort of fueled by myself. Obviously, all of you that watch this know that I don't have an ego, right? I don't big myself up. I didn't create the hype. The hype was created, which I'm grateful for, but the hype was just created and, the expectation was placed upon me by social media and because I had a following and, the entire prep leading into it, I was saying, like, let's just wait and see till I've actually stood on stage. People saying that I was going to beat Wesley and stuff like this. It's like, you've got to give those guys the respect because they've been there for years and they've been achieving these things at the high level. This was my pro debut. Like, I'd not been there and not stood on stage before. So, yeah, I think now all of that expectation is gone. All that pressure's off me. That will also help, which is exciting. So there's a lot of things that will be different this time around, which I'm looking forward to. And then for FIBO, obviously it'll be last show of the season as well. We'll probably just full send for fullness, realistically. Like, we've got nothing to lose. Might as well just see how much we can fill the tank and see how full I can come in and see what sort of look that presents. And then following that, we'll be getting into an off-season and getting bigger because there is a lot of room to put on the weight cap. I need to build a lot of maturity. I need to build a lot of density. So it will probably be another big off-season. I am going to be doing some things that are different with my training. I'm going to be doing some things that are different in regards to everything, which I will take you all through, which I've had a lot of time to think about, which is all very exciting. So I'm feeling very, very positive and excited for the future. And at the end of the day, this whole sport is a process. It's a journey. And I love the process. I love the journey. I don't do this just for the results. I do this because day to day, it's what I truly love. And that's the way you have to be to do this sport, to be successful. I've been doing this for 5 years, and sure, I'm deeply unhappy with my results at the weekend. But in actuality, how many people will ever place 7th in a IFBB professional show, let alone at 22 years old? Okay, so that is something I do need to be proud of. It's hard for me to be proud of it because I always want more, and it's hard for me to look at where I'm actually at right now and give myself credit for that because I'm always just looking at what's next. How do I be better? How do I be, more successful? And for me, that is moving up in placings. And I do want to be the first call-out pro, and I do want to be placing top 3 in pro shows. I do want to be getting to the Olympia, and that's all I'm focused on. But at the same time, I do need to take a step back every now and then and give myself a little bit of credit for where I've got to thus far. Otherwise, I'm going to be miserable all the time. But like I said, that's very hard to do. And ultimately, it's just not me as a person. I'm always going to be looking for the next step. And that's kind of what drives me. So that's just the way I am. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. That's my headspace. But there's a lot to be excited for. But yeah, I do think basically my physique's tired. It wasn't the most ideal prep. There were a lot of personal stresses throughout prep that I'm not going to go into. And there was obviously the hip injury as well. Now, none of those are excuses. I still chose to compete. I still chose to step on stage. And at the end of the day, I was still happy with the physique I presented with all those factors included. I wasn't happy with the placing, but I was happy with the look I brought. I feel like with everything the way it was, minus the fullness issue, I think that was one of the best physiques I could have presented myself this year. So that I am proud of. And at the same time, I've learned so fucking much from this whole process out here in America this time around, all of which I wouldn't have learned if it was a mega successful trip. And all of that experience, and yes, a lot of it's negative and a lot of it was hard to take at the time, but those lessons and those experiences will pay dividends in the future in mass quantity. So yeah, what I will also touch on is my hardest season, my most tough one to take, the most unfortunate season was 2022 in sort of Denmark and those shows that went horrifically wrong. And I presented a package I was not proud of. It was a really unfortunate prep. It was a really unfortunate peak week, and the whole show was a shit show, for those who know. But following on from that was one of my best off seasons ever, because I was so annoyed at myself and so frustrated at the prior prep that off season, it fueled a fire. And off the back of that prep, the next prep was literally my pro card prep, where I did 2 shows, I won them both, and it was my favorite prep of all time. It was just perfect. And that's just going to be the case this time around, right? This prep has not been ideal. I am frustrated. I am annoyed. I will use that as fuel coming into this next off season. And I'm confident that that's going to lead to one of the most productive off seasons, and then lead into a much significantly improved prep and a significantly improved result next time I do compete. I do want to get back on stage sooner rather than later. I don't see myself taking, another 2 years out. I don't want to. I don't think I can wait that long, being that unhappy with how this prep has gone. But I do also need to take the time to grow and get bigger and get better. So I don't know what the timeline will look like. It very much depends on how the first off-season push goes. But I am eager to do it all again. I am eager to do it in a different manner, have a smoother prep, have a better prep, and get a better result from it. But all that is to come. I'm going to very much enjoy the rest of our time here in Detroit. I'm really liking Detroit, actually, a lot more than LA, which I never thought I'd say. I really like it where we are. So I'm really looking forward to the show this weekend. I'm then excited to get back home, and then really excited to go to Germany. Emily's coming with me to Germany. We've obviously got the expo at FIBO, so anyone who is at FIBO, I will be at the ESN stand as well across the weekend, so it'll be a fantastic opportunity to see all of you guys. So please do come and say hello. I don't know times yet. As soon as I do, I'll put it on my Instagram and try to include it in a YouTube video as well. I know for a fact on Sunday, so the show is Saturday. On the Sunday, I'm going to try and be as present as possible. I know I definitely will be on the meet and greet stand at ESN's stand, wherever that is. I'll get the details, but I know that Sunday definitely I'll be there for a good half the day at least. So that's probably going to be your best opportunity to come and find me, because the show will be done and I'll just literally be there all day for you guys to have chats and stuff and have all the time in the world. So please do swing by Sunday if you are at FIBO. If you catch me earlier in the week, please do also say hello. It'd be great to meet as many of you as possible. So when this comes out, rice pudding has just restocked in the UK. So get on that. There's also 20% off everything at ESN, website wide, and the rice pudding has restocked. So all the more reason to go get your orders in before rice pudding goes out of stock again. You catch me just walking out the barbers. I'm going to cover the mic because it's quite windy. I'm absolutely raging because the guy's taken this massive chunk out my beard for some reason. So he's absolutely fucked that. So I'm going to have to go home and fix that. It wasn't a very pleasant experience getting my hair cut there. He clearly was high as fuck because he stank of the devil's lettuce, of marijuana. It was all over his fingers, and obviously when he's doing your beard and stuff, it's all I could smell. So I feel like I've got second-hand smoke inhalation there. It's not been a good day. I'm sure you saw yesterday me talking about how I'm just going to enjoy this one. I really am trying, but I woke up this morning, got a phone call, and I'm now getting evicted from my house back home in Rotherham. Emily and I,
So that's good for stress the day before weigh-ins, to be served an eviction notice. It's just what you want. My hair's doing madness here, you just have to bear with. So, yeah, obviously, the reason I'm getting evicted, for anyone wondering, is just because they want my house back. It happened to me last time at the old place. It's happening again, so there's nothing I can do about it. It's not what you want to find out when you're a day out from weigh-ins. It's very, very stressful, very shit. But that's just life. That's the circumstances. That's the cards I've been dealt. So no choice but to deal with it. So yeah, not in the best of places. Had my hair cut. I'm now out on a little walk just to get my steps in. So I was going to update the camera, but I think I'll leave that to a little bit later when I'm in a better mood. Just going to go for a little walk, get my steps in, clear my head, and then I need to go home this afternoon and shave before tanning, and also sort this horrific beard out that he's just messed up. So we will do that. But yeah, is that a walk? I'm just going to walk, fuck it. So that's the update of where we're up to. I will catch up with you all later.
Right then, so I'm back from my haircut, back from getting my steps in. I was just eating my third meal. I am feeling it today, very, very depleted. One of the lowest days we've had to run all of prep just to get the weight off for tomorrow. So we've just held me a little bit fuller all week. Obviously, that meant we had to pull food a little bit harder today, but that's not been my call. I've just listened to Tom there, so we'll just see. Weigh-ins are until 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. So we'll see what we wake up weighing, and then hopefully, obviously after running a low day today, we should drop a few pounds so that I've got some wiggle room tomorrow morning to eat up a little bit more prior to weigh-ins, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's not been the best day for me. I don't know how much you could hear earlier when I was walking after my haircut. I'm literally, after I film this clip, I'm going to go start shaving and phone Emma and catch up with her for a bit. So that'll be decent. I fucking hate shaving. Obviously, I think everybody does, bodybuilding wise, but full body shave ahead of tanning tomorrow. But yeah, so I briefly touched on earlier, but I woke up this morning, had a nice phone call to say that we're the landlord where I currently live, he wants the property back because he just wants to move back in, which means we've been served a eviction notice through no fault of our own. You know, it just happens. It's part of renting. I'm just incredibly unlucky that the last two places I've rented, after 12 months, they both just wanted the property back, which it is what it is. I can't do anything about it now. It does mean that there's a very quick turnaround. Like when you do get served these notices, you do not have a long time at all to find a new place. And obviously, finding a new place, getting approved for a new place, moving all your stuff to a new place, it's all very stressful. And it's shit is the answer. And it's not what I wanted. It's not the news I wanted. One day out from the wait, 2 days out for a show. It's the last thing I was expecting after the weeks we've had, the week I've had with all the stress and the other personal stuff going on, and for this as well. And I wasn't even sure if I was going to talk about it in the YouTube video, but it's such a big thing that's happened. Like I might as well, because it's real. It's just life. It's not ideal, but it's happened now when it's going to happen. Realistically, I can't do anything about it right now. I was to America, so that's just going to have to wait. So I will try not to worry about it, but obviously it's on my mind. But yeah, it's just one thing after another at the minute for me. I can't catch a break. But that is life, and I'm not going to sit here and play the victim and feel sorry for myself. I'm going to just take it on the chin and keep moving forward, because if I don't, what am I going to do? I'm going to just sit here and be sad that I'm getting kicked out. Now I'm trying to go home, find a new place, and we'll get that ball rolling when we can. But right now, the focus is still very much on the show. I'm going to go fix the beard. That's not a problem. I was pissed off earlier, but fuck it, I can fix it myself. If I can't, I'll just shave it off. So if you see me on stage with no beard and just the tashes, because the barber fucks me up. But yeah, that's it for this video, really. Most of it will have been the discussion from yesterday, where it ended with me trying to be a lot more positive. And then it's led into today, where I've just had it just kicked whilst I'm down again. But we're going to end it positive again. Fuck it, why not? You know, tomorrow we make weight and the carbs start going in. And then it's show day. And then that can conclude this America trip, which has been an experience, to say the least. one I've learned a lot on. One I think it's fair to say I've been pretty unlucky on as well, but that's life. So yeah, tough day. Not a lot filmed today, but that is literally all my day's been. It's been eat very few meals, go get a haircut, get some steps in, and deal with life shit. And now I need to go and shave, get my legs up, chill out as much as I can. And then we'll catch you tomorrow for the one day out video, which is always the best video of the week because food starts to go in, we make weight. Detroit's going to be a sick show. It's going to be nice to see everybody at weigh-ins. So looking forward to that. Very tired today, very depleted, very fatigued, and obviously mood's taken a little bit of hit with some shit news. But like I said, it is what it is. There's no point sitting here feeling sorry for myself. So gonna be positive. Look forward to tomorrow. I've also got one of my mates, Colin, one of my clients. You'll remember from the New York vlogs, I came out here I coach him. I came out here in July for him to compete at Junior Nationals. He's actually coming in tomorrow morning, so he gets here bright and early tomorrow. So it'll be nice to have one of my mates with me as well. So that's another positive. But tomorrow will certainly be a slower morning, which you'll see. Obviously, it'll be the one where we're limiting food and limiting water pretty heavily all day until we've made weight, and then it'll be, floodgates open, get as much carbs as possible. So catch you tomorrow for that video. Like and subscribe. Sorry if this video is a little bit, it is kind of just me sat talking. It's more of a podcast, this video. But that's just the way it has to be because I've not done a lot. So yeah, catch you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. And let's see out this Detroit trip with as much optimistic, positive energy as possible.